Discipline is not about being perfect, and it is not about waking up every day with fire in your chest. It is about doing what needs to be done even on the days when nothing in you feels ready. Most people wait for the right mood, the right energy, the right moment. But the truth is simple and harsh. The right moment almost never comes. People who achieve something big are not superhuman. They are just painfully consistent. They show up when they are tired, when they are stressed, when life does not make it easy. You see, motivation is beautiful when it appears. It lifts you up for a moment. It fills your mind with excitement. It makes everything look possible. It does not depend on feelings. It does not require permission. It is the quiet agreement you make with yourself, a promise that you will not break even when the world pushes back. And when you think about it, that promise is the strongest foundation you can ever build. Because if you cannot trust your own word, who else will? Not massive transformations, not dramatic events, but tiny decisions made every single day. Waking up 10 minutes earlier, choosing to practice even when it feels boring, turning off distractions for 1 hour, saying no to excuses even when they sound reasonable. These small actions accumulate like drops of water filling a jar. At first nothing changes, then slowly the jar begins to rise, and one day it overflows into something bigger than you expected. That is how discipline works, quietly, slowly, steadily. There will be days when your mind tells you to stop, days when everything feels heavy, days when your heart feels numb, days when you want comfort instead of growth. These are the moments that separate the dreamers from the doers. Anyone can move forward when life feels good. The real test is moving forward when life feels unbearable. You must understand that discipline does not remove pain. It teaches you how to walk through it. And the more you walk, the stronger you become. One day you look back and realize that what once broke you no longer scares you. People often think discipline means living a strict, joyless life, but that is not true. Discipline actually gives you more freedom. It frees you from the prison of impulsive decisions. The chaos of a life with no direction. When you live with discipline, you gain control over your actions. And when you control your actions, you shape your future with intention instead of luck. There is no greater freedom than that. Confidence does not come before action, it comes after action. The first time you try something new, you will not be good. The second time, you will still struggle. But every repetition carves a new layer of strength into your character. Discipline is not about talent, it is about patience. It is about showing up again and again until your effort becomes a habit, and your habit becomes a lifestyle. Think about the version of yourself that you wish to become. Stronger, sharper, healthier, more focused, more stable, more capable. That version is not created by chance. It is built through hundreds of decisions that nobody sees. The mornings when you rise before the world wakes up. The hours spent learning instead of scrolling. The moments when you choose growth over comfort without anyone praising you for it. Discipline is the builder of that future self. You are capable of much more than you think, but your potential is locked behind a door that only discipline can open. Fear cannot open it. Excuses cannot open it. Motivation cannot open it. The only key is consistency. Even if you move slowly, even if your progress looks small, it is still movement. And movement compounds. A tiny step repeated hundreds of times becomes a journey. A tiny improvement repeated daily becomes transformation. You do not need to be fast. You just need to stay. Life will always present obstacles. People will doubt you. Circumstances will challenge you. Your own mind will whisper reasons to quit. But discipline gives you the power to keep going when nothing else does. It becomes the quiet engine that carries you through chaos, through fear, through uncertainty, through the parts of life that motivation cannot survive. Discipline is the structure that holds you together when everything else falls apart. And here is the truth that most do not want to hear. The future you dream about demands a price. That price is paid in effort and sacrifice and repetition and patience and discipline. You cannot cheat the process. You cannot skip the steps. You cannot wish your way into a better life. You must work your way into it. And while everyone else waits for the perfect moment, you will create it through your actions. The world will respect you not for what you say you will do, but for what you prove through your discipline. Discipline will not always feel rewarding in the moment. Sometimes it feels like you are walking in darkness with no sign of progress. You wake up early, you push through routines, you choose the harder path again and again, and still the results seem distant. But this is exactly where most people give up. Not because they are incapable, but because they cannot see how close they truly are. Progress grows in silence, strength builds without applause. Transformation begins long before it becomes visible. You must keep going even when the world looks unchanged, because the shift is happening inside you before it appears outside you. Most people underestimate how powerful small habits are. They look for dramatic breakthroughs, life-changing opportunities, or sudden motivation. But real growth is built through repetition. One day of discipline changes nothing. 1 week changes little, but months of discipline reshape the entire direction of your life. When you repeat a habit, you rewrite your identity. When you rewrite your identity, you rewrite your future. That is why discipline matters. It is not about forcing yourself, it is about becoming someone who no longer needs to be forced. You will face moments when you feel alone in your journey. Friends may not understand why you work so hard. Family may question your decisions. People might say you are too serious or too focused. But they do not feel what you feel. They do not carry your dreams. They do not see the vision that keeps you awake at night. Your discipline is not for them, it is for you. And one day the same people who doubted you will ask how you did it. Your answer will be simple. You stayed consistent when they did not. There is something powerful that happens when you train your mind to act without negotiation. Every time you push yourself past resistance, you strengthen the part of you that does not break. You build mental muscle. You build emotional stamina. You build a foundation that allows you to stand firm when life becomes unpredictable. That strength is not built in comfort. It is built in the days when you push yourself even though you do not feel like it. It is built in the moments when giving up feels easier but you choose to continue anyway. The truth is, you do not need extreme discipline to change your life. You only need consistent discipline. You do not have to be perfect every day. You just need to avoid quitting. Skipping one day does not ruin your progress. Quitting does. Success is not built by people who never fall, but by people who fall and get up with the same determination. If you can learn to start again without shame, you become unstoppable. Your resilience becomes your weapon. Look back at your life for a moment. Every time you stayed committed to something, even when it was difficult, you grew. Every time you kept going despite fear, you became stronger. Every time you chose discipline over comfort, your character expanded. These moments are proof that you can do hard things. Proof that you can follow through. Proof that you are capable of more than you allow yourself to believe. Do not ignore that proof, build on it. You must also understand that discipline does not remove emotions. You will still feel tired, frustrated, unmotivated, or overwhelmed. But discipline teaches you to act despite these feelings. It teaches you that emotions are temporary while results are lasting. When you stop basing your actions on mood, you free yourself from inconsistency. You gain a quiet power that most people never acquire. The power to move forward no matter what your mind tries to tell you. There will be temptations along your path. Procrastination will whisper comforting lies. Distractions will pull your attention away. Doubt will try to convince you that your effort is pointless. But discipline sharpens your focus. It reminds you of the person you are becoming. It reminds you that every minute spent on your goals compounds into something greater. When you train your discipline, you no longer need to rely on willpower alone. You create systems, routines, and habits that carry you forward, even when motivation disappears. And here is something many people fail to realize. Discipline creates confidence. Not temporary confidence built on hype, but deep confidence built on evidence. Evidence that you show up. Evidence that you follow through. Evidence that you can count on yourself. Each disciplined action becomes a message to your future self saying, I can trust you. And when you trust yourself, fear loses power. Doubt becomes quieter. Insecurity begins to fade. Confidence is the reward of consistency. Success is not reserved for the lucky or the gifted. It belongs to the disciplined. Discipline is not glamorous and it rarely feels exciting, but it is the most reliable path to any goal worth achieving. When you commit to discipline, you commit to growth. When you commit to growth, your life begins to shift in ways you never expected. Opportunities appear, strength appears, clarity appears, and what once seemed impossible becomes the next natural step of your journey. One day you will look in the mirror and realize that you have become the person you once hoped to be. Not because someone saved you, not because motivation carried you, but because you chose to show up every single day. Discipline built you, discipline guided you, discipline transformed you. And everything you dreamed of began to align with the version of yourself who never gave up.